Water parks are places where people go to have fun and to feel a burst of adrenaline. But behind all the excitement, there is another side. Sometimes entertainment comes at a much higher price than the ticket you paid for. In water parks, things can happen that no one expects. Massive waves forming out of nowhere, people getting stuck inside slides, or even being thrown out of them. Today, I'll tell you about real incidents that forced water parks to shut down entire attractions. Many people dream of being in the middle of the ocean on a massive cruise ship. And to make the trip even more entertaining, one cruise line installed several water slides directly on the ship, with sharp turns, loops, and fast drops. The test went well, and the owners were confident everything was ready. But on the very first voyage, something unsettling happened. A girl riding down a closed tube lost her speed on the very first turn and got stuck inside. She even slid backward a little. No one knows exactly how they pulled her out, considering the height of the starting point. Just imagine sitting inside a narrow tube, unable to move, not knowing how long you'll have to wait. For someone with claustrophobia, this would be a nightmare. The slide was shut down immediately. Another incident took place in Dublin. There, a slide called Emerald Plunge was built with 3 parallel tubes at a steep angle of about 80 degrees. The descent was fast and intense. Of course, the slide had a height restriction, but for some reason the staff allowed a small child to ride it. The boy was thrown out at high speed, flew over the railing, and slid several meters across the ground. On video, it looked like he stood up quickly, as if nothing serious had happened. But his parents later said he was terrified. He was rushed to the hospital, and the water park was immediately shut down for inspection. Sliding down an open-air water slide feels like freedom. You rush downward and enjoy the scenery around you. Everything seems perfect, especially when the slide itself looks reliable. Comfortable speed, a pleasant design. But the attraction I'm about to talk about matched all expectations except for one crucial thing. It wasn't safe. If you think it's impossible to be thrown off a slide like that, take a look at this case. A regular visitor was sliding normally when, out of nowhere, he was launched out of the slide. Luckily, he survived. A broken arm and multiple scrapes were the worst consequences he faced. After this incident, the owners had to completely dismantle the slide and rebuild it from scratch. The design flaw turned out to be too dangerous to ignore. Another video shows a man sliding down a winding open slide with his friends. Everything was fun until he reached the end. He hit the edge at such high speed that he flipped backward and scraped his skin. Fortunately, he got up quickly, but the moment itself was far from pleasant. And here's an attraction that looked more like free fall than a water slide. A guy practically flew down a near vertical drop, as if he wasn't sliding but falling through the air. Soft landing like in a video game. No chance. The impact looked extremely painful. The footage was filmed in 2008 at the Seven Peaks Water Park in Utah, and it was enough to have that slide permanently closed. Why do people love the sea so much? Maybe because it feels great to be carried by warm waves. But today, you don't even need an ocean to experience that sensation. Many water parks have artificial wave generators. They are especially popular in China, where crowds are always big. In one of these parks, visitors came to relax and enjoy gentle waves. But suddenly, the system malfunctioned, and the waves grew stronger and stronger. A massive artificial wave hit dozens of people, lifting the ones in front into the air and slamming them onto the people behind. 44 visitors were hospitalized. Some suffered broken ribs. Others left with heavy bruises. Could this wave have been avoided? Or was it a clear system failure that left the park no choice but to close? But problems happen not only in water parks. Regular amusement parks also have their share of terrifying moments. Not far from Detroit, thrill seekers built a strange slide that looked a bit like a water slide, but wasn't one at all. It seemed like it was created for the bravest of the brave. The only protection riders had were light wraps to avoid cuts from the edges, but the real danger was the speed. Children would literally lift off the surface during the ride, only to hit the ground hard a moment later. Just a few such rides resulted in numerous injuries. Complaints piled up, and the attraction was shut down. Another story involves a multi-person slide where several riders sat together on a large inflatable raft. Everything went smoothly until the very end, when the raft flipped over, leaving the group with a handful of bruises. Despite all these incidents, water parks remain incredibly popular. People still love them, dangers and all. Another frightening event happened in Florida on the well-known slingshot ride. A group of friends came late at night to try it out. They sat in the capsule, the cords were stretched, the operator began the countdown, and right before launch, one of the cables snapped. Had this happened just 1 second later, the outcome could have been tragic. It's hard to describe this moment as anything other than a miracle. On the 15th day of 2015 in Moscow, an incident occurred on the extreme ride Cobra. 4 people got stuck upside down right on the loop. Luckily, rescuers managed to take them down about 30 minutes later. After this, officials stated that many rides in that park had no proper documentation and were unsafe. Soon after, the entire amusement zone stopped operating. Anything unusual always attracts attention, and the same goes for amusement parks and their innovations. In 2012, a new type of roller coaster opened, the first to use a hydraulic launch system. They could accelerate to more than 130 kilometers per hour, which was an impressive speed at the time. Naturally, many people wanted to try it. Among them were a father and son recorded in this video. Their ride started smoothly, but after the first reverse movement, one of the cables snapped. The ride was stopped immediately, and the passengers were safely evacuated. The exact details of the investigation were not revealed, but the family won the court case and received significant compensation. What is the scariest ride you've ever been on? If you enjoy stories like these, make sure to like and subscribe.